But they can't hear you in Israel. One more time, shalom. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm Dave Weiner, and I would like to welcome everybody tonight. I am, let me get the microphone right. I'm chair of the Israel and Overseas Committee of the Jewish Community Association in Greater Phoenix. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you and thank you on behalf of the association. Just picture in a bomb shelter. For those of us here, that's unimaginable. Peace is something that we take for granted in the United States. Israelis kilometers, but in seconds, as to how far they are away from a bomb shelter. That's 15 seconds is what is critical to their lives. With sirens blaring incessantly, normal life came to a halt in Israel. Gaza continued to fire thousands of rockets across the border. Today, as we all know, there's a fragile ceasefire in place, and we pray for continued peace in the Middle East. Tonight, we're here together to voice our support and show our solidarity for the precious state of Israel. It is important for us, as the Greater Phoenix community, to stand together as one. I personally want to thank all of you for coming tonight, and I'd like to thank the over 60 Jewish community organizations that are represented here tonight. That is amazing to see this kind of a turnout. Thank you. Today is also an important date in Israel's history. 65 years ago, on November 29th, 1947, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution recommending the implementation of the partition plan that divided the land between the Jewish residents of Israel and the Palestinians. The UN decision was received with great joy by the Jews in Israel as it marked the beginning of the State of Israel. Since that time, we have seen Israel become a land of innovation, technology, and a home to persecuted Jews from the FSU, Ethiopia, and a worldwide protector for our family. I'd like to thank Robin Eichner from the Council for Jews with Special Needs for being the signing interpreter for tonight's rally. As we begin the program, it is now my privilege to introduce Kayla Bickel, a 16-year-old from Horizon High School, who will lead us in the national anthem, and Tamar Farber from the Israel Center Director, who will sing the Hatikva. Will everyone please rise?
Mine just, thank you. Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star כל עוד בלבב פנימה נפש יהודי הומיה ולפאתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים.
Thank you so much, Tamar and Kayla. I would now like to welcome Rabbi Darren Kleinberg, Chair of the Greater Phoenix Board of Rabbis, and Rabbi Pinchas Halush, Rabbi of Congregation Beth Tefillah, to share their thoughts. I'm never going to waste an idle second. Let me hear you say, Shalom.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for being here this evening. I want to thank the Jewish Community Association and all the organizations that have come together to make this evening happen. It's a great opportunity for us to join together as a community in support of Israel. In 1969, with the memory of the Six-Day War still fresh in his mind, Abraham Joshua Heschel published a book entitled Israel, an Echo of Eternity. And this evening I would like to read some excerpts from that book for you. Heschel wrote, "Bloodshed has always been an abomination to our people. It will be dreadful callousness to forget that war is a nightmare, that war is hell. Whose ear can be deaf to the agony of those who were killed, maimed, injured? We mourn the loss of lives, the devastation, the fruits of violence. We mourn the death of Jews, Christians, Muslims. The screams of anguish are not to be lost on our conscience. When the Egyptians who had enslaved the children of Israel were sinking in the Red Sea, the angels were jubilant and wanted to sing a song of praise and triumph. But God, the Father of all men, said to the angels, 'My creatures are drowning, and you sing?' The joy and exultation that come from Israel reborn are mixed with pain and chagrin over the suffering and bitterness that are found in the Middle East today. The joy of our soldiers is incomplete, and their celebrations are marred by sorrow and shock. There are some who abstain from all celebration. The men in the front lines were witness not only to the glory of victory, but the price of victory. Their comrades who fell beside them bleeding, the terrible price which our enemies paid, touched the hearts of many of our men as well. It may be that the Jewish people never learned and never accustomed itself to feel the triumph of conquest and victory, and we receive it with mixed feelings." Heschel goes on to tell a story. In 1921, a gang of Arabs started out from the Hassan Bek Mosque in Jaffa to attack the nearby Jewish homes in the area between Jaffa and the new Jewish town of Tel Aviv. Jewish defenders went forth to meet the attackers, and an exchange of fire followed, which threatened to develop into a full-fledged war between Arabs and Jews. It took the courage of one person to stop the riots and call an end to the disturbances, which were not renewed until 8 years later. This man was neither a soldier nor a politician. He was a man of the cloth, a scholar, and a spiritual leader, Rabbi Ben Zion Uziel. At that time, he was the rabbi of the small community of Sephardic Jews in Tel Aviv. He himself was born in the old city of Jerusalem, and his family had lived there for many generations. When the shooting started, Rabbi Uziel donned his rabbinic robes and turban and went out to the battlefield. Passing by the Jewish positions, he asked the defenders to hold their fire for a while. Alone, he then proceeded toward the Arabs and called out to them to halt their fire. The sheikh in command of the Arabs instructed his people to lay down their arms for a brief respite. Rabbi Uziel, standing alone in the no man's land between the two fighting camps, then addressed himself thus to the Arab rioters. It is indeed no mere accident that this country, more than any other country in the world, has changed hands so many times. We candidly stretch out our hand to you with true peace in our hearts and say, we have the entire land in front of us. Let us work shoulder to shoulder to cultivate her, uncover her treasures, and live together in brotherhood. Know you and trust that God's word will surely be fulfilled. Make your peace with us, and we shall make peace with you, and together we shall enjoy God's blessing on this holy land. Heschel writes that at this moment the rabbi paused and moved closer to the Arabs, who had come out of the places of ambush and were listening attentively to his words. He now called out to them with greater enthusiasm, our dear cousins, our common father Abraham, the father of Isaac and of Ishmael, when he saw that his nephew Lot was causing him trouble, claiming that there was not enough room for both flocks to live together, he said to him, let there be no quarrel between me and you, and between your shepherds and my shepherds, for we are people like brothers. We, Rabbi Ben Zion Uziel said, we also say to you, this land can sustain all of us and provide for us in plenty. Let us then stop fighting each other, for we too are people like brothers. The Arabs who had listened to his words in silence dispersed quickly. The Middle East cannot remain permanently an armed jungle, with unnamed terrors lurking on each side. Men of goodwill never cease to pray that the logic of peace may prevail over the epidemics of suspicion. We all must ask the nations of the Middle East, drop your antagonisms and your antipathies, your hatred and your fears, and seek to think in terms of one family. The alternative to peace is disaster. The choice is to love together or to perish together. Let the love of life have the final word. And Heschel concluded, again and again was the state of Israel thrust into war against her will, in self-defense confronted with the choice to be or cease to be. It is our ardent hope and prayer that the hour may come soon for an open dialogue between Israel and the Arabs to create reconciliation and to enter a covenant of brotherhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Hine matov umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. How good and how pleasant it is to see brothers and sisters sitting together, unified for the same reason, for the same purpose. Socrates was once approached by a student of his, asking his teacher, should I get married? And Socrates answered, by all means get married. If it is successful, you will be a happy man. If it is not, you'll become a philosopher. And I dare say we are married to our nation of Israel, to the state of Israel, but sadly the circumstances have turned us into philosophers. But one must ask, what connects us to Israel? Why should we organize a rally tonight in support of the State of Israel? What connects the American with the Israeli, the Westerner? Why this connection? And I believe that it is no coincidence that this rally is taking place just 9 days before the festival of Hanukkah, because from Hanukkah we can derive the answer. Hanukkah, as we all know, is the festival that celebrates the victory of the Maccabees over the Greeks, over Antiochus V in the year 164 BCE, Antiochus, who demanded to crush Jewish values, to abolish Jewish traditions, and the Jew who was caught following them would be tortured to death. The Maccabees stood up with great courage and were able to overcome militarily the Greeks and rededicate the temple with the lighting of the menorah. But it is interesting to note that when the Talmud 2,000 years ago wishes to describe the festival of Hanukkah, it asks, "My Hanukkah?" What is Hanukkah? You would expect them to speak of the victory over the Greeks. But no, not one mention of that. The sages in the Talmud say, "My Hanukkah." What is Hanukkah? The miracle of the oil. Judah the Maccabee searched for oil to light the menorah upon the rededication of the temple, as we know. He finally finds one small jar of pure oil, and instead of lasting 1 day, it lasted 8 days, and therefore we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. That is what the Talmud mentions. But why? What about the military victory? Isn't that much more important? Isn't that much more impressive, much more remarkable, much more courageous? To put it in perspective, imagine after the 6-day war in 1967, the same miracle would have happened. One small jar of oil lasted 6 days instead of 1 day. Would it make the front lines of the media, of the newspapers? Really doesn't make sense. It is the military victory that we should be celebrating, that we should be mentioning for history. And I believe that what the Talmud is saying here has a message to us all tonight. And that is that if I had mentioned only the military victory over the Greeks, we may have very well attributed the victory of the Maccabees to nature alone. Yes, sometimes the few beat the many. Sometimes David overcomes Goliath. Sometimes nature smiles to the underdog. The Maccabees, that was part of nature. And therefore the sages put an emphasis on the miracle of oil, because it is this flame of Judaism, this flame that is supernatural, that we are celebrating on Hanukkah alongside the military victory. It is not the ordinary, it is the extraordinary. It is not the natural, it is the supernatural. It is not the body, rather it is the soul. And this, my friends, is what connects us to our brethren in the land of Israel and to the state of Israel. It is the soul of Judaism, the soul that is connected to the soul of our nation, that allows us to be united here tonight, and it is this soul that we must ignite and celebrate. And as we stand in support of Israel, we dare not just stand. We must run for the state of Israel. Better, we must jump out of our comfort zone with and for the state of Israel, with the power of our soul, with the power of our inner goodness, with the power of our divinity. And I'll conclude just by a short story that was mentioned by my dear rabbi as he was asked by a journalist. What is it really, Rabbi, that the Jews want? Why? Give it up. Go create a state in Uganda, in Argentina. Why? What do you want? And he answered with the following story. It was September of 1942 in the city of Stolce, Poland. Eliezer Melamed, a Jew who had survived and today lives in Israel, in Jerusalem, had to run away from the Nazis who had just surrendered his own city, Stolce, Poland. He ran away with his girlfriend into her house. He hid behind a sack of flour. And following him was a mother with her 3 children. They too were seeking refuge, a hiding place from the Nazis who were hunting down each and every Jew of that town. The mother hid in one corner. Her children hid in another corner of the house. Eliezer Melamed is watching in front of his eyes the Nazis bursting into the home in which they hid. They did not find Mr. Melamed nor his girlfriend, nor the mother of the 3 children, but they went directly to the 3 children. Their hiding place was uncovered. All of a sudden, the 4-year-old tells the 6-year-old brother, "Mama, Mama." Shouts out to his mother, "Where is our mom?" And his 6-year-old brother tells him, "Sag nicht, Mama. Mir wird in euch zusammen." Do not say mother, because they will take her too. And Eliezer Melamed told the story by saying that he will never forget the sight of the mother knocking her head on the wall, being torn, being completely destroyed for letting her children go to their march of death. What do we want? My rabbi told the journalist. All we want is that our grandchildren should never be afraid to say mama. And today, as we stand in support of Israel, as we connect to the soul of Judaism, to the soul of the Jewish people, to the soul of our state, of our country, of the Holy Land, we must remember to never be afraid to say mama. This is our legacy, this is our destiny. And therefore, let us take upon ourselves to say mama, the mama of Judaism, with pride. Better to act upon it with pride. Add another light to the world, another mitzvah. Affix mezuzah to your doorplace. Invite a fellow Jew to your home for Shabbat dinner. Study Torah, ignite the flame of your soul. Because this is what connects us all. And this eventually is what will bring goodness and kindness and the flame of our Jewish pride, the flame of our inner mama, to the entire world, illuminating it with true and everlasting light. May God give us the strength, the courage, the determination, the conviction to light our personal light as it connects to the collective light of our nation. May we be instruments of kindness, agents of goodness to the world around us. And may together with the state of Israel be blessed with peace, with serenity, but more importantly, with true Jewish light and life and pride. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Kleinberg and Rabbi Alush, for those meaningful and thought-provoking words. As chair of the Israel and Overseas Council, I've been very involved in our TIPS program, which is a partnership program between Tucson, Israel, Phoenix, and Seattle. Our partnership region is composed of Hof Ashkelon and Kiryat Malachi. Both of these areas are in southern Israel and were hit hard by the rocket attacks. Only 6 months ago, I was in the neighborhood in Kiryat Malachi where 10 days ago, 2 innocent men and 1 pregnant mother of 3 children were killed. The mother was rushing to tell the 2 men of the code red alarm. It is my pleasure to call upon Ethan Binderglass, co-chair of the TIPS partnership, with a special message for the mayors of Kiryat Malachi and Hof Ashkelon.
We are very fortunate to have a video from our partners in Kiryat Malachi and Chof Ashkelon. As you will see, their comfort comes from knowing that we are here supporting them. Thank you very much for your support.
My dear friends of Greater Phoenix Community, Shalom. It was 4 years ago, by the last weekend of December 2008, that I was there with you in Phoenix, standing for and with Israel. The rally which we gathered for was to support Israel and its defense forces in an operation called Operation Cast Lead. This 8 days operation, called the Pillar of Defense, named after the biblical expression and literally means the pillar of cloud that was one of the manifestations of the presence of God in our Torah. This pillar of defense operation was no miracle. As we put our faith and trust in God, today we also have the state of Israel and its defense forces to protect us, Israelis and Jews all over the world. From a personal point of view, let me tell you that as an executive director of an Israeli JCC, my team and I were busy helping our friends in the south. We collected box games, arts and crafts, and food, and delivered them to children who were kept in shelters. We hosted teens, youth, and families in our activities to enable them relax from the sirens and rockets that were fired at them for 8 days and nights. Actually, it is more than just these 8 days of operation, but several years. Some of my friends, some of my employees, men and women, were called to join the IDF reserves. It wasn't easy, at times scary, as the area of Tel Aviv and the center of Israel, where my family and I live, was bombarded. However, there is something inside the hearts, and we all felt united. No matter what your political views are, we all know that we want better life for our children. Children who grow up at the shades of rockets and fire are not the ideal picture for our citizens. It is soon Hanukkah, the holiday of miracles. Well, this one is no miracle. It is surely the strength of one united Israel, united within itself in times of trouble, and united with you, our family in Phoenix and in the United States of America. We need each other. We are for each other, and your support is hugged with love. My family and I, Avi, Dolev, and Shir, we all miss you. Thank you, Toda, Happy Hanukkah, and Shalom.
Now I'd like to welcome Donna Ehrlich, the Council for Public Diplomacy, Consulate General of Israel from Los Angeles. Ms. Ehrlich assumed the position of Council for Public Diplomacy in Los Angeles in August 2012. Most recently, she served in her first diplomatic capacity as Deputy Chief of Mission and Counsel of the Israeli Embassy in Costa Rica. Ms. Ehrlich served in the intelligence forces in the IDF and represented Israel at the Millennium Village in Epcot Center, Disney World, following her release from service. She worked as a project manager at the Consulate General of Israel in New York from 2007 to 2010. A native Israeli with Argentinian origins, Ms. Ehrlich holds a BFA degree from Bezalel Art Academy in Jerusalem. In her role as the Council for Public Diplomacy, she is responsible for culture, media, and public affairs. Before I call her up to share some words with her, I'd like her to know that we appreciate everything that she's been doing. I want everybody to take out their flags and give her a warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. This is amazing. And I'm sorry, David, but I'm going to steal this. Shalom, everybody. Erev Tov. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And on behalf of the State of Israel, it is an honor to be here tonight. I'm too short for this. Yes, great. First of all, I would like to thank the Jewish Community Association of Greater Phoenix and its president, Stuart Wax, for making tonight possible and for the warm hospitality which I received. Thank you for all the rabbis, cantors, and pastors and religious leaders who are here tonight. The past weeks have been hard for all of us, as you know. They have been hard for the 5 million Israelis who had to seek shelter every time Hamas fired a missile aimed directly at our civilian population. It was hard for the children of southern Israel who have been living under the terror of Hamas for the past 12 years. For some of them, this is the only life they know. A life when they know that the moment they hear the siren, they have only 15 seconds to find shelter. It was hard for the state of Israel, trying to defend not only our citizens, but our basic right and obligation to defend our population. And it was hard for all of us here, supporting Israel from afar. It was very important for us at the consulate to come here tonight and say thank you in person. To all of you, thank you. Thank you for your unwavering support and dedication to Israel. Thank you for helping us spread the message of Israel's right to live in peace. Thank you for your ongoing partnership with southern Israel, as we saw with Kiryat Malachi and Chof Ashkelon. Throughout this difficult week, we were thankful for the support of our best ally, the United States. Because of the wonderful cooperation between our two countries, we were able to protect our citizens better. The technology of Iron Dome, which was developed with collaboration and funding from the US, was successful in intercepting the majority of missiles aimed at our civilian population. 400 missiles and over 400 missiles which could have fallen on our schools, houses, playgrounds, and on our holy city, my home, Jerusalem. The collaboration and cooperation we have received from elected officials is unprecedented and something we are greatly thankful for. The various letters that we got published by governors, Democrat and Republican alike, thank you. Easier. Mayors, legislators, federation, and citizens just like you was heartwarming. During the height of the conflict, the US Senate passed a resolution of support of Israel, and it passed 100-0 in only 4 hours. Amazing. During this time we were, thank you, yes. As you can imagine, during this time we were a bit busy working around the clock. Our Consul General alone did over 70 interviews to different media outlets. We spoke Hebrew, English, Spanish, to whomever would listen to us. But still, as Israelis, and as the mayor said, we know that life must go on. And during that time, we did not cancel a single commitment. If it was out helping children to bring some joy to children from unprivileged areas, campuses, communities, talking about Israel's economy, we were embraced by the warm crowd expressing their support for Israel. We stand here tonight marking an important date in Israel's history. On November 29, 1947, the UN General Assembly accepted the partition plan, which led to the establishment of the State of Israel. We stand here 65 years later, and still we have to defend our existence. We cannot stand here tonight without mentioning what happened at the UN today. Israel is the first country and will be the first country to recognize a future Palestinian state. But the resolution passed today at the UN is not that way. One-sided moves are not the way to make peace. Until there is commitment to the security of Israel, recognition of the State of Israel from the Palestinians, and an end to the conflict, we will have no peace. Peace is achieved through negotiation between the two parties. This resolution does not promote peace, it damages it. The only way is to sit down and talk, as our Prime Minister said. Israel believes in peace, and we dream of peace, we pray for peace. But we are ready to defend our country and our population when needed. As you all know, Israel is strong, and Israel will continue to be strong thanks to your help and your support. Toda rabah. Thank you very much.
Donna, thank you so much for those powerful, thoughtful, important words. We greatly appreciate you coming to our community for this rally and sharing your knowledge and these important updates. Please make sure that everyone in our community stands with Israel. Unfortunately, with Congress being in session and so much happening right now, we were not able to have any congressmen or senators attend. They all expressed their regret. However, they've all provided us with some of their statements, and I would like to read several of their statements. We have posted all of the statements on our website at jewishphoenix.org. Before I read the statements, I'd also like to acknowledge that Congressman Schweikert's office felt very special about tonight, and they have their representative, Kevin Knight, who is represented here tonight for Congressman Schweikert, and he is the representative to the pro-Israel community. So I'd like to thank you for attending the rally tonight. Thank you. Mayor Stanton provided us with a statement, and he'd like us to know that he stands with Israel, is our #1 ally in the Middle East, and I strongly support their right to self-defense. It is important for our allies to hear a unified and resounding message from the United States that we condemn acts of terrorism and support a strong response. I will continue to stand in solidarity with our leaders in Washington who adamantly support Israel's right to defend its citizens from harm's way. Senator John McCain issued this statement saying, Israel has the same sovereign right as every country to defend itself, and no government could be expected to remain passive under the daily barrage of hundreds of rockets fired intentionally at innocent men, women, and children, which Israel has had to endure at the hands of Hamas. Senator John Kyle issued this statement saying that no nation has faced more security challenges from Islamist terrorists than the state of Israel. This ongoing rocket attacks by Hamas are just the latest iteration of this continual war. The people of Israel deserve better. They deserve peace and a secure future. The United States must continue to stand by Israel's side unreservedly. Because Congressman Schweikert happens to be the congressman representing where we're standing tonight, I'd also like to read his statement. He just shared with us that I've always believed that America has no better friend than Israel. Israel deserves the right to defend herself, and she deserves the right to exist. In light of the recent rocket attacks from Gaza, it's clear that the first true test of the Iron Dome was a great success in intercepting hundreds of incoming rockets. I'm also extremely disappointed that the UN today voted for Palestinian statehood. Not only is this action reckless and irresponsible, but it represents a step back in the peace process. I look forward to working in a bipartisan manner and showing the United States supports Israel. Thank you. We are very, very fortunate to have a very strong congressional delegation and strong leaders across our whole state who support a pro-Israel purpose. I would like to also thank Erica Newberg and George Weiss, who have been an invaluable connection to our community, state, and national leaders. They have worked tirelessly to make sure that all of our leaders have a strong pro-Israel position. I'd like to thank George and Erica for all their work. Now I invite Stuart Wax, President of the Jewish Community Association, to share some remarks. I'd like to thank Stuart and his staff for helping making tonight possible.
Good evening. Imagine as if Gaza was Fountain Hills and if southern Israel was the rest of Greater Phoenix, and over 1,300 rockets had been fired upon us in just 1 week. Imagine if over 14,000 rockets had been fired at us over the last 12 years. Imagine if you had to spend every hour of the day for the past 8 days in a bomb shelter or within 15 seconds of one. That is what life was like recently for people living in Israel. So tonight we gather in support for Israel. First, I want to thank all the organizations that helped spread the word about tonight's rally. Will the representatives of the organization and synagogues please rise so we can show your appreciation. I also want to thank the staff and volunteers that helped pull tonight's rally together. A special thank you to the amazing team of association staff who have put countless hours in to planning and making tonight's rally happen. Thank you to Erica Newberg of APAC, Rabbi Kleinberg for their guidance, and a tremendous thank you to you, David, our Israel and Overseas Chair, for all your hard work, not just tonight, but your ongoing commitment to the association and to Israel. I also want to thank, which I know there's a number of non-Jewish members of our community that came out tonight to show their support for Israel. And most importantly, thanks to all of you for showing up tonight. Israel needed our support during the attacks, and it still needs our support now. During the 8 days of rockets being launched into Israel and its citizens living in constant fear, my thoughts were with everyone in Israel. They were with the state of Israel. They were with the Jews worldwide. My thoughts were also constantly drawn to how Israel, this democratic state in the Middle East, this state that has shown such tremendous restraint, this state that takes painstaking planning and communication to avoid and limit casualties to innocent civilians in Gaza, was portrayed as the aggressor, as the equal in the conflict. I want to read to you a brief excerpt from a communication I received on November 20th from the Consulate General of Israel, Los Angeles. This does a tremendous job of telling the story of how Israel and Hamas terrorists could not be more different. Hamas terrorists deliberately and indiscriminately target Israeli civilians while hiding behind their civilians. This is a double war crime. They fire rockets from densely populated civilian areas in Gaza, including mosques and hospitals. Israel operates with the utmost care and caution to protect the lives of those in Gaza who are uninvolved. We continue our humanitarian efforts, including the import of medicine, food, and other goods to the Gaza Strip. Israel abides by all international law and its own high standards of moral code of conduct. We deeply regret the loss of life of uninvolved civilians. These excerpts from the communication show how the two sides could not be more different. The double standard by which Israel is held and the way they are portrayed in the United States and other countries is very concerning, to say the least. So Israel needs our emotional support. They need our financial support. They need the services provided by so many of the agencies we fund. They need our political support, and they need our support in the court of public opinion. While I am not one to blindly support Israel or say Israel is never wrong, in times like this we must stand in support of Israel. We must stay informed to respond to the anti-Israel messages and comments that we will continue to hear. It was great for us to hear tonight the updates and words from Donna. Thank you so much. The association has also been sending out regular updates, which I hope many of you have gotten. And if you are not currently getting them, please be sure to visit our website to sign up and stay informed. While we all hope and pray that this fragile ceasefire lasts and that one day there will be peace for Israel and everyone in the Middle East, we must recognize how fragile this ceasefire is and how much Israel needs us and our support. As reported in the Jerusalem Post, Israeli intelligence satellites have spied the loading of rockets and other materials onto a ship in Iran believed to be destined for the Gaza Strip. This was cited after the signing of the ceasefire. It is now open and public knowledge of Iran's support and supply of Hamas. As reported in Haaretz yesterday, Gaza residents put up billboards to show their gratitude for Iran for the Iranian-made Fakar missiles fired toward Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Gazans offered very public thanks to Iran on Tuesday for helping them in this month's fight against Israel. There were even "Thank You Iran" billboards on 3 major road junctions in the Gaza Strip. Public acknowledgement of Iran's role in arming Islamic militants. So while there is currently a ceasefire, Israel remains at extreme risk. Whether you like or don't like Dennis Prager, agree with him typically or not, recently I heard a statement from him that really spoke on the real issue with there being peace in the Middle East. He said, if all of the Arab countries put down their weapons, there would be peace in the Middle East. If Israel put down their weapons, there would be no Israel. We all heard and watched the amazing Iron Dome missile defense system as it shot down over 400 rockets and saved most likely hundreds, if not thousands, of Israeli lives. Israel is already testing the next generation of rocket defense. The United States has been supportive of this development for both of these systems. In addition, the United States has firmly stated their support for Israel. We need to thank our congressmen for their support and keep encouraging the United States' firm support for Israel and their right to defend themselves. One way to do this is by writing your congressman. At the completion of tonight's rally, we have letter templates for you to use in writing your congressman, and these will also be posted on our website. Israel also needs our financial support. These relentless attacks on civilians in Israel have put a major strain on the social services, increased needs for counseling. Reserve soldiers have been called away from their jobs and family, causing both emotional and financial stress. And it has caused overall financial impact on the state of Israel as it defends itself, defends our Jewish homeland. Some 300,000 tourists have canceled their visit to Israel so far following Operation Pillar of Defense, causing severe negative financial impact on Israeli economy and for many Israelis. According to estimates, the fighting in Gaza has cost Israel tourism $1.8 billion in damages. The association is currently running a Community Israel Emergency Fund. These funds and fundraise in other communities will be distributed 100% directly to programs serving those in need in our partnership region, Kiryat Malachi and Hov Ashkelon, as well as throughout Israel. So let's rally in support of Israel in this time of need. So while normally at events like this we ask you to turn your cell phones off, I now kindly ask you to turn your smartphones, cell phones, iPhones, droids, whatever you may have, on. One way we have you to support this campaign is by texting. You can text to the number 51818, the message Phoenix to Israel. That means in the 2 line, enter the number 51818 and then text PHX, the number 2, Israel. Then, of course, hit send. You will receive a response back asking for your email. When you get this, please enter your email. The final step, you will receive a response asking for the amount of your pledge. Please enter your pledge and know any amount is an enormous help to Israel. Once you put that amount in, hit send. I want to thank you in advance for your support. And in the coming days, if you text now or text later, you will receive a call from us to finalize that pledge and get the payment. If you don't have your pledge and wish to make a payment tonight using a credit card or check, there were cards distributed, and we also have staff and volunteers out in the hallway to collect these. Again, 100% of these pledges and these payments go directly to Israel to help with these needs. This is also an important time to focus on our community. We need our community to grow in strength and broaden the engagement and services for our Jewish community. It is through the Campaign for Jewish Needs that we're able directly and through the many Jewish organizations here in Phoenix serve Jews locally, build a strong and engaged community that is able to come together at crucial times like tonight. So many people have asked, what can we do? You can write your congressman. You can donate to the Israel Emergency Fund. You can get involved with the association, a synagogue, or other Jewish organizations around Israel advocacy and support. You can support the annual Campaign for Jewish Needs. You can stay informed so you'll be able to respond to questions, false information, and verbal attacks on Israel. You can visit Israel. I was just there in July on a mission, and I'm so delighted and excited to be leaving in just 3 short weeks with my family for our daughter Leah's bat mitzvah. I hope many of you now and very soon also make a trek to Israel. Most importantly, as Jews, a Jewish community, and believers in the state of Israel, we need to support and build a love for Israel based on the need for a Jewish state. While many Jews, if not all Jews from time to time, may struggle with identifying why Israel is important and how to communicate it. In the end, it is not complicated at all, but actually quite simple. We need to support Israel because it is part of all of us. Without Israel, where will our people have the experience of being in a Jewish country? Where will Jews be able to go where they know they can be comfortable? Where being Jewish just happens. It is a place of our history. It is a place we can be comfortable being Jewish while at the same time debate what that means. It is holy for us and is a place for Jews to be Jews, to live in a Jewish environment, and a place to come home to. Thank you so much for coming tonight to show your support, and thank you for supporting Israel. Am Israel, Am.
Stuart, thank you for sharing your thoughts and your leadership. And thank you to the association for pulling together tonight's rally and for all that you do for our community and for Israel. I now would like to invite up the community rabbis and cantors to come up together and do a prayer for Israel and for the soldiers who are protecting the state of Israel.
Father in heaven, rock and redeemer of the people of Israel, bless the state of Israel with its promise of redemption. Shield it with your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say, Amen.
I'd like to thank all the rabbis for joining us for this prayer, and we are asking the Pardes Jewish Day School with the 6th to 8th grade students to join us in singing a few songs, and then we'll be shortly wrapping up the program after that. So, please welcome the Pardes Jewish Day School. Thank you for, I'd like to thank you for attending tonight's rally and showing your support for Israel. I'd like to thank everybody that participated and the organizations that helped spread the world. One more thing, before you leave though, please, please, make a donation to the emergency campaign by texting PHX to Israel at 5181, or pick up one of the donation cards you receive. Also, take the time to go to one of the letter writing stations, pick up some information, and make a greeting card for one of the soldiers. So in closing, I'd like to thank everybody, and on behalf of the association and all of the Jewish organizations and synagogues, thank you very much. Am Yisrael Chai.